getting back to the action now. It's been a one-team show so far. We'll see if that changes here in the third. It's been one outstanding game so far from Roy Hibbert.
I feel like he made everything he got. I mean, anytime he had an open look, he took advantage of the opportunity there in that first half.
And Steve, they were all good looks. I mean, his shot selection has been terrific throughout the game.
It's stolen by Rose. Now here's Rose, the fast break opportunity. And Granger with the block. And so it looks like the Bulls will retain possession here. Butler with the ball, and Granger picks him up defensively. It's off his leg. And the official saying it was kicked. Boozer kicks to Rose. And uses both hands to jam it in. Clark, can you believe it? A point guard who can soar like that?
Man, I tell you what, that's a major elevation there. That's a power finish for a player at any position.
Well, he is not afraid to take it inside. We know that.
The Bulls leading by 19.
Well, I tell you what, you consider all the injuries the Bulls had last year, and you look at the 34-18 mark against the Eastern Conference, and it's absolutely remarkable considering what they had to go through personnel-wise.
And back to the Bulls in the East. It wasn't just one guy who stepped in the shoes of Rose or the departed Ashik. It was a group effort.
You know, you looked at the roster last year, you kind of scratch your head and go, how is this team going to get to the second round without Derrick Rose? But they did it with a group of role players, with a front line that was tough and nasty and rebounded well, and with great coaching, too.
Dishes up to Hill. Indiana moving it around. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give them 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Well, you got to love the season from David West last year, coming off the ACL tear back in 2011. I think he's completely back as far as that injury is concerned. He was so good last year, particularly in the playoffs.
That free throw missing. And David West, Clark, a locker room leader for the Pacers last season, helped lead them all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, and a guy I know that you greatly admire.
Oh, my goodness. Love the way he does his work. I call him Real Deal 21. There's nothing fluffy about what he gets done, and he's so smart and so smart.
It's not possible what we just said. Clark, is that possible?
Not probable, but it is possible, partner.
It's possible. Not probable. It is possible. I don't know what all that meant, but you're right, Clark.
And George, here we go. A beautiful reverse layup. George has got 10.
Looked like he may have been showboating a little bit at the end of that one.
Into Noah. A great 1-2 punch. Beautiful pass and nasty jam.
It makes it so easy for your teammate when you can lead him with a pass like that one.
Hill against Rose. Back to West. It's tipped. And that's out of bounds. Indiana will retain possession.
13 seconds on the shot clock. 13.
Puts it up off the inbound. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2.
Well, the Bulls battled in last year's postseason. Got a Game 7 win in Brooklyn to sneak out of round 1 in what was one of the more interesting series of the first round, but then fell to the Heat in round 2.
And for the Bulls, no Rose the whole time, and they had questions constantly being asked if he would return, but the team came together, Steve, and showed the Bulls aren't just a one-man show.
You know, they missed him, though, Kevin. I mean, desperately. I thought they performed admirably, but they really needed him against the Heat. They were able to steal Game 1 in that Eastern Conference semifinal matchup, but without him, the Bulls just didn't have enough firepower to beat Miami.
Knocked loose. 6 on the shot clock. Boozer kicks to Dang. With the shot. And it's Chicago scoring again.
Everything working for him out of the half as they've hit 4 of their first 5 shots.
Granger left side. And that's out of bounds. Indiana will retain possession. Mike Dunleavy, he's checked in for Luol Deng. Not quite 2.5 minutes played here in the second half. Granger right side. West inside. Soft touch off the glass. West has got 7 points in the game.
You gotta love the low post offense. That was beautiful.
Outside Rose. Pass to Noah. He's against Hibbert. Left block shot on the way. Paul George grabs the miss. George has got 4 rebounds now tonight. The Bulls making a switch here. Dunleavy gets a screen from Boozer. And out of bounds as the Pacers gain possession.
Such a careless pass. You've got to keep your head in the game here.
A challenging stretch here for Indiana. Watson up top. He's covered by Rose. Granger dishes to George. He feeds it to Scola. Laid in with a nice touch off the glass.
Perfect on their first 3 shots now. That's the way to start the second half.
The Bulls have gone 4 of 6 from the field since the start of the third.
He's made a name for himself in the league as being one of the best undersized 4s out there, guys. And Louis Scola can go up against somebody who's much taller than him and still find a way to pump fake his way to a hoop.
He's created some good opportunities for himself and made the most of them.
For Indiana, they've gone 3 of 3 from the field since halftime. Here is Watson. And the layup's good off the glass. Watson's got his first points in this one. And Scola, Steve, at 6'9", not the biggest or most athletic player, certainly on the floor, but he does a good job on the glass. He seems to be a very solid player.
And he plays very physically, on defense. He's not afraid to get into you. Probably struggles to defend the more athletic players, but I think Scola is one of the smarter, savvier players we have in this league.
Beautiful finger roll to cap head drive off. He knows how to finish with some flair and flavor, guys.
Watson, the pass to Scola. Lays it up, and despite of the excellent defense at that.
They've been so effective when they've been able to get the ball inside.
Some real shortcomings from this defense. I mean, they've given up 5 straight looks in the paint.
Joakim Noah, he's checked in for the Bulls. Outside Rose. And he drew the blocking foul. He'll go to the line for 2. They get C.J. Watson.
I think when you look at Derrick Rose, fellas, the most intimidating thing about him is his elite speed. But you also have to consider his size. He's well put together, about 6'3", maybe just a shade over 200 pounds. He is a handful when he's coming at you fast with that strong body and explosiveness.
And Clark, you mentioned the size of Derrick Rose. 6'3", not just a speedster, but the combination of quickness and power. I've always thought that, Steve. He goes in there, and he would be a very tough guy to try to stop when he's got a full head of steam.
Oh, no question.
Oh, wow.
He's coming at you with that burst and the strength. That's why he's so overpowering as a point guard.
Their rebounding has been off the charts today, guys. Reason number 1, this game is out of hand.
Exactly. I mean, the score is right where you'd expect it to be when the battle on the boards is that lopsided.
Copeland can't hit. For Chicago, they've gone 7 of 10 on their field goal attempts here in the third. And Dunleavy gets it to go in. 59 seconds left to play in the third. Butler against Hill. Right side, Scola. Deflected. Stolen by Noah. Rose against. Oh,
get it!
Oh,
what's out now? Terrible transition defense there.
I think it would have been pointless, Steve. There was no way anybody was beating him to the basket there.
Tipped. And that's out of bounds. Indiana will retain possession. Indiana making some changes. Roy Hibbert's checked in for Scola. West comes in for Chris Copeland. And it's George in for C.J. Watson. There's 37 seconds left in the third quarter. Here's Hibbert. And that time, also a missed shot.
Terrific defense at the rim. They got right in his path.
You know, that's part of what great defenders do. They get not only in your path, but in your head a little bit, too.
Rose with the ball. He's picked up by Hill. Near the three-point line, it's Dunleavy. Rebounded by Granger.
You just assume he's going to knock those down when he's as open as he was there.
Bulls making a switch here. 12 seconds left here in the third quarter. Inside to Hibbert. Reverses. The shot is off.
Hey, I like creativity and a circus finish as much as anybody. But you better be sure you got a chance to make.
And we welcome you back as we get going here in the fourth quarter. The final quarter of play can change everything. Let's quickly check out the scoring breakdown here for the Bulls.
Guys, their play close to the hoop has been great all game.
And the other thing they're doing, Clark, is scoring a lot of points off turnovers, forcing mistakes and cashing in.
It's hauled in by Watson. And for the Pacers, their shooting and offensive execution has been beyond great. They're 63% from the floor in this game. And George kicks it to West. And it's Chicago with the rebound. And now here comes Teague leading the break. Here's Dunleavy, and he goes in for the dunk.
What a smooth finish.
Well, he's certainly the one they want on the end of those breaks. He always finishes strong.
He kicks to Mahimi. The shot, no good. Nice D from Muhammad. The Bulls shooting 59% up to this point. They're looking for great shots, and they're hitting them. And the basket good.
And that's 10 straight points in the paint. I mean, defensively, the wind has just been knocked out of their sails.
Need to get more bodies committed down low.
Outside for George. West, right side. Hit his foot. And the ref saying he kicked it. The Bulls making a switch here. Just over a minute played here in the fourth. Off his foot. And the ref's whistling a kick ball. Knocked away. Copeland dishes to Watson. And they're going to count the bucket and send him to the line. It could be a three-point play.
And he will take the ball right into the teeth of the defense.
You know, it had been a while since the Pacers were able to win their division. Matter of fact, the last time it happened was the season right before the NBA realigned the divisions to their current state back in 2004. But they were able to raise another banner last season.
Mahimi down low, guarded by Heinrich. Mahimi's shot is good. A little over a minute and a half of the fourth quarter gone now. Outside Teague. The high post shot. It's rebounded by Copeland. Well, a big part of why the Pacers were able to take the Central, as you were saying, Clay, they were so dominant within their division.
Well, they went 13-3 against their division, so not an easy thing to do. Although, if you look at the Central, it was down last year. Derrick Rose's injury, but also rebuilding teams in Milwaukee and Detroit and Cleveland. But the Pacers did what they needed to do.
Chris Copeland, a 28-year-old rookie with the Knicks last season, originally from New Jersey. He played collegiately at Colorado and found his NBA opportunity after playing some years in Europe.
And Copeland, Clark, more than serviceable coming off the bench last season. Steve, what do you think of his performance with the Knicks?
Well, he played awfully well down the stretch, had a couple big games in the playoffs as well. But what I like about him is the floor spacing that he provides. His three-point shooting is really strong, but he's long and he's got a good body. He should be able to guard multiple positions.
And it's going to be out of bounds. The Bulls will retain possession. Roy Hibbert's checked in for Indiana. Fourth quarter of play, and we're about 2.5 minutes through it right now. Dunleavy, the pass to Heinrich. Kicks it to Murphy. Shot clock at 6.
Hit me, I'm open.
Back to Heinrich. The 19-footer is on the money. For Indiana, they've gone 2 of 4 from the field since we started the final quarter of play. Hibbert against Murphy. And that's out of bounds. Indiana will retain possession. Chicago making a switch here. Muhammad's checked in. Fourth quarter keeps moving right along. 3 minutes gone so far. Here's Scola. And so he earns a trip to the line. Official saw the contact and he'll shoot 2. No good on the free throw. And he can't make the second free throw either, missing both. The Bulls have gone 4 of 7 from the field since the beginning of the fourth. Teague can't hit.
Terrific job that time defending at the rim. I mean, it's not an easy task stopping that fella when he's headed to the bucket like that. Good job.
This is why you need size inside, the ability to contest shots and force misses.
Steve, that's exactly right. Even when you get in close, it's still a tough shot.
Here's Heinrich. And they will get the basket here, folks, as they rule goaltending.
He got there late, but you do have to like the aggressiveness to go after the block. But that one's going to count.
And the crowd immediately letting the officials have it after that whistle.
A very unpopular call there.
Hibbert inside. Muhammad's there. Gibson with the steal. We've played just over 3.5 minutes now in the fourth quarter. Outside Teague. Snell. Heinrich outside. Front pass the arc. A putback. And it's Gibson finishing it off.
He sniffed out that board and then powered it back in.
Pure Mike Clark. So strong going back up with that one.
That's exactly what he's capable of, guys. So strong.
To stop the drought. And Scola puts it in. Heinrich with it. Outside Teague. Back to Heinrich. There's 1:38 left in the fourth quarter. Gets it to go.
They've got to continue to put pressure on the defense by probing inside. That's what's really working for them.
And when you're doing the job they are inside, it takes pressure off the perimeter guys.
Watson for 3. Muhammad pulls it in. Chicago's gotten off to an 0 for 2 start from downtown here in the fourth quarter. Heinrich kicks to Teague. .114 left in the fourth quarter of this one. The feather touch on the finger roll. Beautiful.
And now we can see them really working it inside.
Taking advantage of the defense, really pounding it down low.
Stevenson dishes to Scola. Stevenson passes to Scola. Nice D from Gibson.
It just hasn't been a very good day for him, guys. They need him to start burying some of those.
.52 seconds left in the game. Heinrich, right side. Snell launches a 3. Goes back up. Here's Gibson. They shoot again, and it's good on the way up.
Well, guys, tonight they came in here and really dictated the terms of the engagement, which is very difficult to do as the visitors.
You're right. That's not usually the way things work in the NBA. It's a great win, and no question, it's going to be a happy plane ride out of here.
And Stevenson kicks to Hibbert. Lays it up and banks it in. The Bulls shooting in the fourth quarter has been efficient at 56%. Now here's Heinrich. Not a lot of room. Now Muhammad. And so Chicago takes this one, and by a big margin. Some days, Clark, everything goes right for a team, and they just had one of those games.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean,